Alright guys, um, welcome back. I'm going to be doing a little bit of a different video this time. I'm going to be doing a story time about the time I went urban exploring with a good friend of mine and his cousin. So, um, it was last year, I'm pretty sure, and me and my friend were bored, and we'll call him Brian. We'll call him Brian. So me and Brian were bored, and we didn't know what to do, and we called up his cousin, and he answered, and he was like, "Oh, like we should go urban explore at this place called Fruin Mill," um, and we were like, "Okay, sure, let's go do it." We've never urban explored before. We've never heard about the Fruin Mill. We've never even like seen it or anything to do with it. Like I didn't even know where it was. So we wait for Brian's cousin to go over, and then once he gets over, we all plan it. We're like, okay, we'll go here in like an hour, and we have to buy flashlights and pack stuff, so like we don't get spotted, and we are able to walk around and see things. So we're not falling through holes in ceilings if there was any, stuff like that. So we get ready, we grab everything we need, we get in the car, and we drive to the Fruin Mill. And it's in Minneapolis, and it wasn't too far. It was about like maybe 15 minutes away, 15 to 20 minutes away. And we get there, and we have to park in this parking lot, kind of off to the side, because there's two businesses right next to this abandoned building. And we walk down this like little path that's been stepped on. You can see because people have obviously done this before. So we follow this little path, and we go across the train tracks, and the sun is beginning to go down at this point. So we try to find ways to get into this place because we've never done it before, and we look like a bunch of idiots with backpacks on, trying to find a place into this old rustic building that's all graffitied. So we eventually find a way in, and we hop in there, and it's amazing. It's really cool. We hop into the main building. It's split in like two different sections. I can show you a picture. I'll put up on the screen. But we hop into the main building, Building A. And while we're in Building A, we were just exploring. I had my cameras with me, and I took pictures. And it was just interesting seeing like an abandoned building and being in an abandoned building for the first time. And this is like our legit first time ever being in like a actual abandoned building. So while we're in there, we're just looking around. We're all like, holy crap, this is really cool. There's graffiti everywhere, different expressions of art. It was just really cool. And as we're making our way up the stairs, like we would see cars like driving on the roads. We would have to hide our flashlights and can't let anyone see us, or else people call the cops. And we couldn't have any of that. So we had to play it pretty safe. And we were walking around, and then we go to Building B. And while we're in Building B, we're just still exploring. And then we go back to Building A, and we sit down and watch the sunset over Minneapolis, because we're able to see Minneapolis. And I can throw a picture up there too, what it looks like. But it was so pretty. It was awesome. It was really cool being there and witnessing that for the first time. And time passes. We're still hanging out. We're just having a fun time. We're just goofing around, throwing shit down the holes, the cement, and we're just fooling around, just some tomfoolery. And it gets darker and darker, and we're just fucking around with our flashlights. And then eventually we hear a car pull up, and we're like, oh shit, we gotta hide. So we turn off our flashlights, and we hug the wall so no one could see us. And we didn't know if it was a cop or it was just people like trying to come in. So we had to turn everything off, and then once we saw the lights turn off and the reflection was gone, we turned the lights back on and kind of peered over the cement to go look into the like buildings or like into the streets if you can see anything. And we didn't see anyone. We're like, okay, whatever. So we started talking about leaving because it was getting pretty late, and we don't want to stay there that long because we've never been here before. We don't know what kind of people it attracts during night. So we're like, okay, we could leave within like the next 30 minutes. So as we're getting ready to leave, we see more cars like pull up, And we're like, oh shoot, all right, let's wait till we go downstairs because we can't walk downstairs because if we start walking downstairs, you'll be able to see us coming down the stairs. And so we weren't able to do that, so we had to stay up top. And then eventually, the cars passed or whatever, and we started moving down the stairs, and then we started hearing the fence that we climbed, like rustle, like we heard people like come over. So we had to stop and like be quiet and like turn off our lights because it's creepy. Like when you're in an abandoned building yourself with like two other people, you kind of don't expect to see anyone else. And once you get in that moment, it's kind of like freaky deaky. It's not really fun. Like having to deal with other people in a situation where like you're alone and you have like no weapons with you or nothing to defend yourself. You don't know if the people who are coming like are evil or like some oddballs. Like you just never know. So we camp out on the third floor and we're just waiting for it to pass. But there's this big, giant cement hole. I'll see if I have a picture of it, and if I do, I'll put a picture of it on the screen. But there's this giant cement hole in the ground on the floor we're on, and we can look right down to the second level. And on the second level, there's another big, giant cement hole. So we're kind of waiting, and there's rubble everywhere. So like every time you move or like kind of stand up and like try to walk, like you'll probably kick rocks or kick some cement that's on the floor. So we had to like have our flashlights like on the ground, like super low to the ground, so you can't see like the light. So we are trying to like stealthily move throughout this building, and like not have these people hear us. But then we start hearing them like yell and laugh and like continuously talk, and we thought it was super weird. Like we gotta get out of here. Like this is not fun. This is not cool being around here. So while we're trying to make our way down, like the volume like increases. Like they keep on saying more things and they keep on laughing, and then we get down to the second floor, and then we look through the cement, and it's not even funny because I hate looking back at it and like talking about it because it's just so freaky. We literally saw a group of people standing together, dressed in super dark clothes, like in the corner of like, so it's partitioned. The part where they're at is partitioned, so there's a left and the right, and then there's a big wall in the middle of it. But there's a big concrete hole on the second level that's right where we're partitioned, so we can look on the left and the right, so we can see on both sides from above. And we see them on the right side, and we have to exit to the left side, thankfully. But we see like a group of like 6 people like in a circle, and it was just freaky. And we were kind of like, what do we do? Like, how do we go about this? So we're trying to think of a game plan on how to get out there without them seeing us or without them hearing us. So we kind of like create and devise a little plan, so we don't get like hurt or murdered. So we come up with a plan, Brian and his cousin, and while we were creating this plan, like they started like chanting and shit, like they start holding hands and like chanting like some satanic like ritual shit, like worshiping the devil kind of stuff, and it was just weird. It was so freaky, like already having ghost experience in my life and having to deal with this it's just so weird that people would do something like that, and it was just so freaky. We all looked at each other like we have to get the hell out of here right now, and they kept on doing it, and we're sitting up there for like 5 minutes trying to create this plan because we had to whisper and we couldn't like raise our voice, it's hard to hear, and it was just not a comfortable situation to be in. So while we are there, we end up creating our plan. We're just gonna go down the staircase and kind of like hopefully no one hears us and we don't kick things that would like cause them to turn heads or whatever. So we get down to the flight of steps, and it's a big concrete step. It's super tiny. It's very small steps. It's very steep. And right as you get on these steps, you can look outside and you can look inside. So we had to go down and then to the right and then exit through the building. And you kind of had to jump out of this place because it's like off the ground a little bit and the stairs don't exist because people like kick it and break it, so it doesn't exist anymore. So you gotta have like do a little jump. But while we have to exit, you can definitely see anyone who's entering and exiting from either side with a partition, the left or the right, and they're on the right side, so they can easily see us when we leave. So we were like, we just gotta be fast. Like once we get on the first level, we just gotta book it. And that's probably not, that probably wasn't the smartest idea. We probably could have done it when they could have seen us, but like we just wanted to get out of there. So while we are on the stairs, we're like, okay, we just gotta run. We just gotta run. And literally, I shit you not, right as we start to run, like they all stop their chanting. Like they all stop, and it just goes silent. And we just start sprinting, and they all start talking. They're like, "What was that? Who was that?" And then they all turn and they all start looking at us, and we're just hauling ass. I tell you, we are hauling ass. And eventually we get to the fence we're at to like go leave, and this isn't a fence where you can jump because it's barbed wire. You had to like finesse around it, and while you're going around it, if you fall into the water. So you're kind of like going around water, and if you fall, it's not good. So we had these people behind us, and we had to jump. We jumped out of the building, and we got around to the corner, and then we had to finesse around the wall, around the fence, and we get around the fence, and they're all standing on the opposite side of the fence, and we look back at them, and there's just like 6 of them staring at us, all black. They're just staring at us, and then we turn around, and we just start sprinting towards the car, and we just run towards the car, and then eventually we get to the car, and we're just like, okay, that was fucking freaky. That was just absolutely ridiculous. We're never gonna come back to this place again at night. That was just too much. And that was just a crazy first urban exploring experience I've had. And for the first time, that was kind of like the mold of how weird it can get. But we've continued to go exploring since. We've gone to some cool places. We've gone back to the Fruin. But the Fruin's under construction now. You really can't go there anymore. There's cameras and everything there now, so you can't really go back there. It's being renovated or whatever. But yeah, that was the freaky experience I had first time urban exploring. And I have more weird urban exploring stories too that I can share. But another one's at a different place, but it's in Minneapolis too. It was really close as well. But thank you guys for listening. If you guys like this kind of video, you want more story times, just let us know. Let me know, and I'll for sure get more because I have a lot of stories to tell that are very odd. I got a really good ghost story that's just freaky, and I have a bunch of stuff that is just very weird. And yeah, if you want to hear it, just let us know. Smash the like button, subscribe if you're not. Thank you guys for listening. Have a great day.